It's another day in a big executive cruiser, so I have to do my thing. Where to today, sir?
Oh,
Yes.
Today's not the airport. Where is today? I'm hungry. We need to go to a nice restaurant. Could you pull up some reservations, please?
I probably could.
And then take me there.
Yes, and you also could just like excuse yourself and move all the seats out of the way and just have a very different experience.
Right. I think I might.
Because we are in the Genesis G90, which is the top of the Genesis brand, and it is Genesis competing with all of the big boys. We're talking the 7 Series BMW, the A8, the Mercedes S-Class. That seat is on the move. You're having fun. Even the big Lexus LS. So all of the big executive cruisers, this has the full executive back seats. You can see Paul enjoying that already. This is $101,000. Not inexpensive.
Ready for the leg rest.
It's not going to be nearly big enough for you, I'm telling you.
No, it's not.
It's not made for people our size.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive.
Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
Here's the craziest thing about this vehicle. This is actually the small version. In other markets, they offer a long wheelbase that is longer than this.
Which I kind of need.
For that you do, yes.
My legs are a little bit long here for this car. That's okay. This Genesis is pretty awesome. But it is all about the experience. It's really not about the driving experience.
No.
Even though there is a sport mode, it's almost like you got to fight for who gets to ride back here. You're not fighting for the driver's seat anymore.
It's a fair point. I mean, I do have massage seats. I'll turn those on. I don't know why I didn't have them on already.
Well, that's just it.
That's just better.
Every seat has heating, ventilation, and massage functionality, and these recline. This is truly the executive sedan done by Genesis, and I'm glad that Genesis still does this kind of thing.
Agreed.
The market, though, for this is bigger than just North America.
Absolutely.
It's truly worldwide, this kind of thinking, and it'd be a little weird to do it in an SUV. I mean, we could do this kind of thing, but it just seems more appropriate in this car. Just want to relax.
And here's the thing, the Germans were the only ones doing this forever. And then Lexus shows up in the late 80s to say, hi, we'd like to do it, and we're going to offer you all these features and we're going to make it cheaper. This is Genesis pulling a Lexus, where they're entering this market. You can't even get this bare bones. This is really, really nice at the base level, which is already like mid-90s, and here this is, of course, press car spec. So it's loaded.
Brilliant.
At 101. But I keep thinking, while 101 on one level is a ridiculous amount of money to pay for an executive class car, then I think about every other car in this market, and you're going to be spending probably 20 grand more to get everything that's in this. Maybe 40 or 50 grand.
I'm a little uncomfortable back here.
I'm so sorry.
Are we in comfort?
That was sport. I'm going to go to eco, sir.
Okay.
I'll go to eco. We're
it's
in eco
a little
now.
bit too bumpy.
I'm sorry.
For my
taste. Might be
taste.
the road. I apologize profusely, sir. Please don't fire me.
Don't let it happen again.
I will do my best.
Make sure you're in eco, because we need to
road
glide
smooth.
here.
Full air suspension, turbo and supercharged, all-wheel drive.
Let me tell you a little bit about this back seat. You can tell Genesis has really gone after Mercedes in this market. The center console has not just the controls for all of the seats, but you have your HVAC controls, your entertainment controls, which controls the screen up here. And when you're lounging like this, you can actually see that screen up here. And it's so quiet back here due to Genesis measuring the sound levels at each seat and tailoring the sound experience, the noise canceling experience, based on the position where you are in the car. Obviously, the back seats are farther away from the engine, even though it's EV levels quiet when you're just cruising. But there's noise cancellation and there's the laminated glass, so it is very quiet. It is now at a level where you can no longer say, wow, that's pretty awesome for a Genesis. This is absolutely world class.
It is.
100%. With the kind of in-car entertainment experience that you get and how quiet it is, this is why you buy the car.
The big question I do have about this, and we don't know, of course, is what is this like at 100,000 miles? We know that the Lexus would be really good. We know that the Mercedes and the BMWs and the Audis, their leathers hold up really well. We have to assume at this point that these are that quality, but we don't know. So at 100,000 miles, that's a big question. You also don't have the dealer experience that you do at a place like Lexus, and that is a downside when you're selling. Sorry,
that was
sir.
quite a bump.
Sorry, sir. Very sorry.
I'm being upset back here.
I apologize.
Just hope you know, these corners are a little harsh.
I got it.
I'm having to hold on.
Slow down. I'm driving like a driver, not like a chauffeur. I will totally change that now,
Being
sir.
thrown around back here.
Yes. The air suspension does a really good job of self-leveling the car. In fact, if you go down a slight hill, it wants to level the car so you're going down like an elevator instead of down nose first, which I find fascinating. These are not things that are unique to Genesis. I want to be clear about that. But this is where Genesis is going. I can offer you all of that for much cheaper.
Are you now shopping for a Genesis G90? Use autotempest.com to search all the car markets and even research inventory at dealers.
Autotempest helps you search nationwide across all the used car sites, including Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Plus, you can get email alerts so you never miss a listing.
We use it to research for our podcast, to search for crazy road trip cars, and just because we like to dream. And Autotempest can even help with new cars, pricing out the options and getting local dealer quotes. If you're now looking for a Genesis G90 or any Genesis, autotempest.com/everyday can get you the help you need. Autotempest.com. All the cars, one search.
What other car in the market has button-closed doors?
Oh, yeah.
Rolls-Royce does that. They're like the people
That's
that you know
true.
that do it is Rolls-Royce.
That's true.
This is a Genesis at $100,000. Now, I'm not saying that's not technology that other people can't put in their cars, but I put my family in this. We've had other people look at this. It just impresses people.
It really does, yeah.
And it does put down enough comfort and luxury features that you do drive around in this and go, I can't think of anything this doesn't have, or anything that I need that this doesn't do, if you're looking for a luxury driving experience. And I almost feel like this is a bit of a stretch, but this reminds me of the old beat-up Phaeton that I had, because that was the unexpected super luxury car.
Yeah,
and this is 20 years
more
newer.
space than this does back here.
This is 20 years newer, and it's doing that same thing.
Yeah.
It's not interesting to drive at all. It feels big no matter what mode you have it set in.
Yep.
It does absorb bumps very well. Sorry again. But it also, it feels large. Now, it has rear wheel steer that, of course, makes it turn tighter in slow situations or glide between lanes when it's going fast. This also has the longest wheelbase of anything in this class, unless you go super long version, but like the normal way you buy it. This has the longest wheelbase, and it feels like it. 5,100 pounds plus here, and very lengthy.
I'm
not the style
so
guy.
Nice on
I'm
the back of my head.
Yeah, you're about to fall asleep.
Oh, this is great.
I have to say, not the style guy, but I think this is the best looking big executive car available right now. Unless you are buying like Bentleys and Rollses. I'm talking between the S-Class, the 7 Series, the 8, and the LS. I think this is the best looking one. This has the most presence.
Genesis has paid so much attention to the style of this. Not only will people just clear out of your way when they see that gigantic grille and the 11 projector LEDs on each headlight. By the way, that twin stripe signature look that Genesis is cultivating, they look like very high-end jewelry.
They do.
Combined with that grille, but they all blink. When you've got the turn signal on, those side markers are giant turn signals, and all 11 of them blink. The whole side of the car lights up. But the main feature of the style of this car is that parabolic line that runs from the very beginning of the hood all the way to the back of the car where it washes out. This long car just really invites gorgeous lines.
It does.
Genesis calls them athletic power lines.
Okay.
And yeah, they are absolutely beautiful. The way the surfaces terminate, the sensitive way Genesis has treated all of these surfaces, and the best part of all the good parts is the line that defines the edge of the trunk lid, which is kind of spoiler-like, and then as it wraps around the car, it defines the rear taillight shape, but then it also defines the parting line for the bumper. It's one line all the way over the back of the car. You just see this one shut line that contains that rear spoiler edge. It's where all of these beautiful lines, these directional lines, terminate right at the rear of the car, and that's where the air delaminates right off the back of the trunk. It is absolutely gorgeous to see this moving. It's beautiful to see it in person. I think it's one of the prettiest cars on the market. When was the last time you just saw a pretty car?
Yeah. It's
just
very good looking.
wonderful to look at. And then of course that interior experience, this is based on that harmonious white space theme. You've got great materials, but then all the shapes, they're all hot dog shapes. It's all futuristic, but it's just hot dog shapes. Those relatable shapes that look great and define this interior.
Future hot dogs. I didn't think about that. You're
That's
right.
all it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just
All right.
relatable shapes. You understand what that's like. And then that instrument panel is just like Mercedes. With a slight twist.
Well, these two little wings here are my only real critique in the interior, because
Sure.
I like them visually. I just feel like then somebody was like, well, we got a lot of space there, we ought to put buttons on it. And the buttons are the worst possible buttons. You've got make the screen brighter and a huge trunk button. You know what, just if you want to have the wing design in the interior, just let them be that.
Sure,
The buttons
without
on
being
there is
buttons, yeah.
just, it feels like somebody sat around and probably had a focus group to figure out which buttons should we put there. Then they made them enormous. Just let the shape be the shape. It's okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
Anyway, I have to try to convince you to get out now, don't I?
Yeah.
That's going to be a struggle.
Fortunately, though, neither of us have to close our own doors.
And neither of us have to bear the tragedy of sitting in a seat that will not massage us.
Oh, that's true.
That's very nice.
All right. All right, now I can get out.
Did you reset yourself?
Well, not
really.
I just put the...
Okay, all good.
I'll just get all set.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, why'd you close your own door? What did we got to do it on cue?
I reopened my door so that I can properly close it.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Can't be bothered.
Who closes their own door?
Plebeians. Okay.
I forgot to mention the clamshell hood. It's one giant piece, which makes the shut line part of the design over the front
Sure,
wheel arch.
yeah.
What a gorgeous car to look at. It's just pretty.
It's great looking and it has a lot of presence on the road.
See, we're both too long.
We're too long.
We need the
I can't
wheelbase
really
car.
use the footrest. Now, my wife, who's about 5'6", was unbelievably comfy back here. Her legs weren't too long. She had her legs perfectly on the leg rest.
Yeah.
I actually was driving her home in this car and she wanted to sit in the back. And she told me to keep driving, and so I just like randomly drove other places.
kept driving?
Because she wasn't
That's
done
great.
playing with the screen. She was comfortable. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty hysterical.
So this has that autonomous driving feature, that smart cruise control,
Yes.
which I tried extensively, and it was actually pretty good. There was a long beat between the time you let go of the steering wheel and by the time it actually wanted you to kind of pay attention again.
I think longer than any car I've driven,
For
as far
sure.
as not asking you to touch the wheel for the longest period of time I've experienced, for sure.
Long enough so that you kind of start to rely on it, and it is
Yep.
really good, but only on straight and gentle curves. When it actually comes up to a curve that's notable, the car does slow down and it's navigating things. Because it's using the cameras on the front of the car to use that in conjunction with the air suspension to navigate the road. That's why it has such a great ride. But that's all part of the system of what the car is doing to scope the road out as you're using the smart cruise control. That lag time between it asking you to pay attention to it again, it's so short that all you're going to be doing is just watching what's going on and kind of over paying attention, which is defeating the purpose of what that system does.
It
Lets you
does-
just go.
It waits a surprisingly long time, which I gotta be honest, makes me nervous because I like to drive. But I also think it's interesting that part of the reason I think it struggles with corners is because this car is so big. There's a lot of body movement, there's a lot of steering wheel movement to get this huge behemoth around a corner.
Yeah.
Now you're asking the autonomous system, notice the air quotes, to handle that, and that's asking a lot.
Sound system is quite excellent. It is the Bang & Olufsen system with the tweeters rise, present themselves, because you're going to listen to something amazing in this car. And it
I
does
guess. It
sound
does sound
really,
really
really
good,
good. It's all part of the experience, including the fragrance. Kind of one-ups Mercedes. There's 2 fragrances to choose from installed in the glove box. And down here on your HVAC controls, you can choose between them, and you can choose the level of squirt.
The
How much
level of squirt.
fragrance do
You
you
can
want
also
coming out?
choose your mood curator. They have 4 different
Yes.
moods. It changes the interior lighting, the LED lighting here along the doors and the lower sills. It changes that lighting. It puts a different picture on the screen. It picks a very nice, plinky plunky music piece to play, whether you want to invigorate you or calm you or whatever. So you can pick 4 distinct moods. That has a light show and music and a scent and the whole thing. Do we need any of this? simultaneously, no, we do not, and yes, please, some more.
How is my driving, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Is the music level okay?
The music level's fine.
Are you too hot or too cold?
I can control that, so I'll be
Okay.
fine. I'm playing with which
Instructed you.
massage seat feature I
Oh,
would
are
like.
you?
Yes.
How's
yes.
it going back there? Are you getting more relaxed?
I'm trying them all.
Has
That's
your
what's
mood
happening.
changed for the better?
Well, we haven't done the mood curator yet, so it really hasn't
Hopefully
changed.
you can.
But you know what? I was in a perfectly good mood to begin with, so I can't complain.
the way you tell the difference between this car and the standard version is the color of the brake calipers. This one has copper calipers, and the other one, the lower priced one,
Plebian
has silver.
Yeah. Oh, terrible.
But what that means is this has twin turbochargers, the electric supercharger, and that 48 volt mild hybrid system. So, it just punches the engine to life. It doesn't start like an old starter.
Yeah.
And it gives you a little bit of boost that you can feel. And it doesn't sound like much, but when you dip into the throttle, this car does move, and you can waft people away. You can just watch them go backwards in your rear view.
It's that Rolls-Royce thinking again. I mean, look, it's got 409 horsepower, 405 pound-feet of torque, which is a good amount of both.
Sharp corner coming up,
Oh,
sir.
okay. I won't brace myself. I'll just hang on. Hope the seat hang on to me.
Grip some of that pleated leather.
Oh, yes. However, it's not about the power. It's just about feeling like it's enough as it just moves you through the world. It is that thinking again.
That was quite a bump.
There's
Sorry
quite a few
about
back
that.
here. I'm trying to cope. I
We're
won't
still
get
in
too angry.
eco. We're still wafting.
We are still wafting, but even in sport mode, it actually rides pretty well. This air suspension is good. I am so conflicted here because $100,000 for a car is ridiculous and a lot of money.
Well, yeah.
But you get in this and you go, yeah, I see it. I totally get where the money went.
At no point does it ever drive lightly.
Nope.
It's very heavy. The front end just feels very, very heavy to me. But you're feeling that all-wheel drive system, of course, and the weight of the car, and then all the electronics and all the servos, like for the doors, that just adds weight
Absolutely
like
it
crazy.
does, yep.
But it does give it that glide when you're moving. I feel like it kind of ups your conversation. You kind of move away from the plebeian day-to-day kinds of conversation. You start to talk about philosophy or something. It kind of does. It kind of makes you want to talk about and listen to more interesting things and mind-stimulating sorts of
You'll end up talking about
topics.
coffee and wine is what's going to happen. I understand.
And watches.
Yeah.
Don't forget watches.
Okay, Watches, Whiskey, and Design.
That's right.
Coming to you from the Genesis G90. This is where we're going to host the podcast, Watches, Whiskey, and Design. It's from right in here.
Are you
Yeah.
asleep yet? Either from
Almost.
the watches discussion or the car?
Probably from the watches discussion, but the car is contributing for sure, yeah. This does have the poof.
It
For
does
the
have the
headrest,
poof.
which Mercedes has done before, and I have to ask the question that I wonder anytime we're in a car with a poof, and what are the wash instructions? Because those are going to need to be washed. They aren't
That's
leather.
some serious.
They're pillow-like. They're very nice, but they're going to need to be washed sometime soon. This is a journalist car. I do not trust that at all. But anyway,
Shall we dip into the power just
Sure,
briefly?
why not? Yep.
I'll just roll gently onto the power. Just lean your head back against the headrest.
yep.
Yeah.
And that engine note
moves.
is pleasing as well.
Ooh, you're right.
It's not obnoxious, but it's very nice. It's a nice,
It is
grumbly
nice.
engine noise.
Yeah.
Not too loud, but tells you something's going on. Most of the time, it's completely in the background. It's only when you really put your foot in it, it does wake up, and it's decent.
I like this car.
It
It's
is very
not
nice.
for you, and it's not for me.
Well, but maybe in 10 years, we do a cheap sedan challenge again, and I get this instead of a Phaeton. Because what's it going to be worth in 10
How's
years?
the tech now?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. There's
Maybe
so much
good,
tech
maybe
on here.
good.
What's its lifespan going to be? That's always my big question about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is really good right now. Really, really good. It's got about 10,000 miles on it, and it's supreme. It really is. It's wonderful.
Genesis, doing good things.
Can I sleep now?
Putting you to sleep. Yeah, you
pretty
can
much.
sleep.
You can keep driving. I can just
It's okay.
nap. It's been a long day.
Yeah. How's your mood, sir?
My mood's okay. Later we might curate it differently.
Okay.
But for the moment,
Just let me know.
yeah.
Because I have buttons for that.
I know. Easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Buttons for mood.
Yes.
Look out. Mood has a smell too, which really concerns me.
Mood
But
has a
okay.
smell. Luxury has a smell.
You're waking me up with your shh. You're shushing me awake.